Neither my earth nor my heavens could contain me, whilst the heart of believing servant does contain me. That Hadith Qudsi without doubt establishes the magnitude of the spiritual heart of a believer. Ibn Arabi, as a Sufi by excellence, has many words to explain the uniqueness of the heart. Qalb, the Arabic word for heart, is defined in dictionaries as variation, transformation, reversal, adaptability, overturn, or turning. As a verbal noun, qalb is essentially synonymous with the word taqallub, which means variability, alteration, fluctuation, change, inconstancy, and transformation. In Ibn Arabi's viewpoint, the heart is a place of constant fluctuation and change. Ibn Arabi relates it to the divine root of the fluctuating nature of the heart. In a hadith, the hearts of all children of Adam are like a single heart between two of the fingers of the All-Merciful. It's crucial to note that in Islamic sources, the heart is not considered to be a mere sentiment or feeling, but epistemologically a locus for knowledge. In the Quran it is said, "The All-Merciful mounted the throne." With reference to the Hadith Qudsi we quoted earlier, Ibn Arabi draws a picture bluntly. Quote, "The heart is his throne and not delimited by any specific attribute. On the contrary, it brings together all the divine names and attributes, just as the All-Merciful possesses all the most beautiful names." The ability of the heart to adjust to the tajalli, or God's self-manifestation, in whatever form it takes on, contracting or expanding or turning over as it does so, is what gives it its unique qualities. The heart is a witness to the constant changing from state to state as Al-Haq appears to it, because, as we've seen, the presence of wujud is always new, or never is the tajalli repeated. We can see the heart possesses a very unique capacity to turn with the moment-to-moment transition of the tajalli or states due to the endless variation and shifting of spiritual or psychological states. If we think of the heart as a qalaba, we can infer that it is the polar opposite of Al-Haq. Just as a mirror image turns an object around and sends the reflection back to its source, the nature of the heart is to perpetually go back to its divine source, fluctuating between Al-Haq and Al-Khawq. It reflects the realities of wujud as a mirror image of Al-Haq. Its ability to change spiritual states is beyond human reason. Though God is manifest in any form, one who does not apprehend God with his heart may repudiate the tajalli that appears in front of him. In the Quran it is said, "Truly in that is a reminder for whosoever has a heart or gives ear as witness." Ibn Arabi elucidates, "Truly in that is, in the constant change in the cosmos, there is a reminder of the constant change of the root for whosoever who has a heart, since the heart possesses fluctuation from one state to another. That's why it is called heart. He who explains heart as meaning reason has no knowledge of the realities, for reason is a delimitation, the word aql being derived from factor. But if he means by reason, which is delimitation, what we mean by it, that is, that which is delimited by fluctuation, so that it never ceases undergoing transformation, then he is correct. As a consequence, only the heart, not reason, can provide knowledge of Al-Haq. Our rational faculty cannot apprehend the tajalli of Al-Haq in the visible world, only maintain his incomparability and transcendence. Ibn Arabi once more delves into the root of words to elucidate the subtleties of his intended explanation. Since the Arabic word for reason, aql, means shackle or factor, it means that if one chooses to use their reason to know Al-Haq, they will constantly feel bound and constrained. The heart is said to be the only faculty capable of apprehending the inner structure of wujud with no restriction and constraint. So the epistemology of the science of what we might refer to as spiritual intelligence is the heart. The heart becomes the fount of all true knowledge and the storehouse of all meanings. The majesty and beauty of the heart's ability to contain and embrace all forms is captured by Ibn Arabi in his very famous poem. O marvel, a garden amidst the flames, my heart has become capable of every form. It is a pasture for gazelles, and a convent for Christian monks, and a temple for idols, and the pilgrim's Kaaba, and the tables of the Torah, and the book of the Quran. Any reality and any form can be understood and inhabited by a person with spiritual insights who witnesses with his heart while not putting any restrictions on the divine being. In the heart, things appear exactly as they are, preventing confusion or perplexity caused by the variety of forms. The constant changing of states may in fact cause the reason to feel some degree of confusion in which the witness is shocked by the constant flux, which appears to it to be merely contradictory. Ibn Arabi asserts in the poem previously cited that all forms and beliefs can be contained in the heart, and that the Tajalli is the source of the astounding diversity and boundless variety of forms. Concerning the ability of the heart to perceive all forms, Ibn Arabi maintains that the heart is the place of love for God, inasmuch as it is the heart that can only know God for the sake of loving Him. The one who loves God accepts and perceives Him in all the tajallis he takes. Ibn Arabi explicitly establishes that the heart is the culprit of love. Quote, "The culprit of love is the love of the heart, not his reason or his sense perception. For the heart fluctuates from state to state, just as God, who is the beloved, is each day upon some task. So the lover undergoes constant variation in the object of his love, in keeping with the constant variation of the beloved in his acts. The lover is like the clear and pure glass goblet, which undergoes constant variation according to the variation of the liquid within it. The color of the lover is the color of the beloved. This belongs only to the heart, since reason comes from the word of delimitation. That is why it is called reason, a word derived from fata. As for sense perception, it obviously and necessarily belongs to the word of delimitation, in contrast to the heart. This can be explained by the fact that love has many diverse and mutually opposed properties. Hence, nothing receives these properties except that which has the capacity to fluctuate along with the love in those properties. This belongs only to the heart. In order to describe something like this to God, look at these words. I answer the call of the caller when he calls me. God does not become bored that you should be bored. When someone remembers me in himself, I remember him in myself. All the divine law, or most of it, is of this type. The wine is precisely what becomes actualized in the cup, and we have explained that the cup is identical with the locus of manifestation, the wine is identical with the manifest within it, and the drinking is that which is actualized from the self-disclosure in his locus of self-manifestation. Let's get back to the hadith Qudsi we quoted in the beginning. Neither my earth nor my heavens could contain me, whilst the heart of believing servant does contain me. The hadith explicitly elucidates the epistemological capacity of the heart. Additionally, we can maneuver further by connecting it to the ontological fact that the heart is continually in a constant fluctuation from one state to another. In other words, it is grounded upon the tajalli of Al-Haq within the heart, considering that the tajalli is never repeated, since Al-Haq never manifests himself twice in one form, nor in one form for two objects or individuals. Quote, we know that one of the attributes of time is transmutation and fluctuation, and that God is time. It has been established that he undergoes transmutation in forms, and that each day he is upon some task. If man examines his heart, he will see that it does not remain in a single state. So he should know that if the root were not like this fluctuation would have no support. But the heart is between two of the fingers of its creator, who is the all-merciful. So he knows himself, knows his Lord. And in the hadith of the fingers, there are divine glad tidings, since he attributed the fingers to the all-merciful. Hence, he does not cause the heart to fluctuate except from one mercy to another mercy, even though there is affliction in the various kinds of fluctuation. But there lies in afflictions midst a mercy hidden from man and known to Al-Haq, for the two fingers belong to the All-Merciful. Mercy is the vital reality of the heart because, in the light of the Hadith, the heart is linked to the fingers of the All-Merciful. In the end, it is inevitable for the heart to go back to the Divine Mercy. With reference to that, Ibn Arabi gives an eschatological scrutiny of the important relationship between the heart and the Divine Mercy. Quote, "Do you not see that the heart lies between the two fingers of the All-Merciful? That which causes it to fluctuate is only the All-Merciful. No other divine name enters in upon it along with the All-Merciful. This name gives to it only what it possesses in its own reality, and His mercy encompasses all things. Hence you will not see anything in the heart's fluctuation which leads to distress, chastisement, and wretchedness, unless there is also hidden mercy along with it, since the heart lies between the fingers of the All-Merciful, which causes it to fluctuate. If He wills, He keeps it straight, and if He wills, He causes it to swerve from the straightness. So this is a relative inclination from straightness. Hence the heart ends up at the mercy by the property of the authority of this name. He whose heart swerves is like him whose heart goes straight. This is a glad tidings from God to His servants. O my servants who have been immoderate towards yourselves, here He does not mention one kind of immoderation rather than another. So in this immoderation, He includes all the states of those who are immoderate. Despair not of God's mercy, since that which has made you swerve is the fingers of the All-Merciful. Surely God forgives all sins. This report which accepts no abrogation. This verse should be combined with His words, God does not forgive that any should be associated with Him. We conclude that a person is punished for his associating others with God as God wills. Then the fingers of the All-Merciful display their properties within Him. So he ends up with the All-Merciful. Those kinds of swerving less than associating others with God, which are forgiven after punishment. These are the people of major sins who will be taken out of the fire through intercession after they have become coals, as long as they have not associated others with Him. Faith in this is mandatory. There are also those who are forgiven without punishment, so there is no escape from ending up in mercy. It is remarkably correct what an Indonesian proverb says: the depth of the ocean is measurable, but the depth of the heart, who knows? I'll see you next time.